So there's a few more things I wanted to go over with you guys on catching Pokemon and evolving Pokemon. So with catching Pokemon, you'll notice the box down here in the corner, and everyone's kind of messed with this probably. And so there's the no feet, 1 feet, 2 feet, and 3 feet. I've heard a few different things about the feet and the distances on different sites, but I'm gonna go with what Cerebi said. I believe so. 3 feet was 1 kilometer, and 2 feet was 100 meters, and then 1 foot was 20 meters, and something like that. And then no feet, it's just there, and you need to blink, and you just need to click it. And so yeah, with 3 feet though, you guys, so that's a little more than half a mile. So what you need to do is you need to click that Pokemon that you're wanting to find, and over here, if you start walking, so walk in different directions to do this. If you start walking in the correct direction of this Pokemon, this box down here will actually blink, or like that Nidoran. So I moved my phone in a direction and it kind of did it for me. But yeah, so this box will blink if you're walking in the direction of that Pokemon, which is pretty sweet. And so that helps a lot, especially for the 3 feet or 1 kilometer away. So also it helps to zoom out on your map, especially if you've kind of found the direction the Pokemon's in, and look to see if there's any shuffling grass. And even if it's over a mile, I mean a half a mile away, I mean that'll still help a lot for how many blocks away that Pokemon is. And look at that, there's some shuffling grass right over there. So I know one of those 3 feet Pokemon are definitely over there in that grass, and that's a park, so obviously there's some awesome Pokemon there usually. There's a Charmeleon here that me and my friend ran into, and once he caught it, the Pokemon disappeared. And so I believe there is a certain, let's say, just catch rate for a Pokemon. So like how many people can actually acquire the Pokemon. And so that's actually something to actually think about. So if if it's a Charmeleon you guys just ran into and you already have one, you should probably let your friend get priority or fight for it or something. And so I feel like sometimes a Pokemon will come and it'll just have a certain amount of times it can be caught, and that's just how it works, especially on rare. So kind of building on what I believe to be rare Pokemon, you guys, and what I kind of think the game thinks rare Pokemon are, because this kind of matters a lot when it comes to the lures and the incense. And so I think rare Pokemon are definitely the rare Pokemon from the two K eggs, which are like Charmander, the starters, and Pikachu, Jigglypuff, Clefairy, and stuff like that. I actually kind of was going to go over that a little bit. Yeah, so Magikarp was a little more rare. And then the other rare Pokemon, like from the 5K, what I think would be like Mr. Mime, Porygon, Kangaskhan, Tangela, Lickitung. It's kind of obvious when they're a rare Pokemon, especially if they're single. They're just a basic Pokemon, like they're only basic. I think that makes them definitely more of a rare Pokemon. And then from the 10K, you have Onix, Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, Chansey, Scyther, Jinx, Electabuzz, Magmar, Pinsir, Lapras. I don't think Eevee's not considered a rare. Ammonite, Kabuto, Aerodactyl, Dratini, Snorlax. Those are all rare Pokemon. And then also what I think the game considers to be rare, especially when it comes to lures and incense, is just evolved Pokemon in general. And so sometimes that could seriously mean a Pidgeotto, and that kind of sucks. Because what I'm getting at is a lure, from what I've experienced, and I've messed around with lures a lot, it spawns 1 Pokemon every 30 minutes. And some of you guys will be like, well, I've seen 3 or 2. Well, actually, I think those 2 or 3 is because of the steps. And you'll notice, like, if a Magmar's 3 feet away, sometimes the Magmar will show up at the lure, because that's like what a lure does, lures the Pokemon in. But also, I think the lure itself, it's spawning Pokemon out of nothing, technically most of the time, and that's where all those Pokemon are coming from. Every 30 minutes, it will spawn 1 rare, whatever the game considers a rare is, and that's kind of what I just went over with you. And so it could be a Pidgeotto, but it could be a Scyther. And a Scyther! I really want a Scyther. I have not gotten one yet. Pinsir is really more common in my area, so it's kind of sad, but that's okay. I'll get one eventually. And yeah, so the incense, you guys, works the same way. So with incense, I want to go over that with you guys, because that's definitely something people are very confused about. The spawns in Pokemon, I believe, for people have timed this, but the spawns for the lure, I think, is around 2 to 3 minutes. Something like that. And then the spawn for, it's like let's just say 2 to 5 to be safe, but yeah, it's a little lower. And so that's a spawn for a lure, and then a spawn for a incense, you guys, I believe, is around 5 minutes. And so that's how it works for me. If it's fast or slow to you guys, we can say 3 to 7 minutes, but I believe it's around 5 minutes, and usually I run at about 6 Pokemon on my incense. But Incense, if you guys have not noticed yet, definitely puts the Pokemon at the higher CP, the higher level you are, and so that's pretty awesome. And then also Incense will bring you 1 rare. I've noticed that too. Pretty much every time. It's been very consistent for me. So to finish up on like catching Pokemon, you guys, so just remember to have your Lucky Egg active if you do plan to sit there and just kind of, you know, let those lure modules bring in all those Pokemon and just constantly catch Pokemon, because those Lucky Eggs will help in that scenario. But if you are very limited on your Lucky Eggs, at the end of the day, I do think it's better to save them for when you're evolving, you know, 30 Pokemon at once in 30 minutes, basically, because like evolve a Pokemon a minute kind of thing, because that'll bring in, you know, 1,000 experience instead of 500. While when you're catching, you know, it's 400 or it's 200 instead of 100. But yeah, so back to CP though, you guys, just kind of finish up on this on evolving. So when you evolve, a Pokemon has a certain percentage of CP, and so that's like this Bulbasaur here. Oh, Bulba is what I named it, but yeah, like oh baby, yeah. And yeah, so when you evolve this, like if I evolve this Bulbasaur right now, I don't have the candies to do it, but if I evolve this Bulbasaur right now, the percentage of CP will stay the same, and the CP actually went down a little bit because we just leveled from 24 to 25. So that's why there's a little bit of a gap there, but it's still, actually that probably would be enough for me to power up 1 time if I had the candy to do so. And so that's because we just leveled up. So the CP does decrease, that percentage does widen when your trainer levels up, because a Pokemon needs to catch up then. And that's why if you had a Pidgey at 150 CP back at level 10, and that was full, and you look at that Pidgey once you're level 20, it'll be half, you know, it'll be half full, because there's so much more CP that Pokemon can now acquire since your trainer level is higher. So remember, that's how CP works when Pokemon are evolving, or your trainer level is, you're gaining trainer level. So evolving though, it'll stay the same percentage. So if this Bulba evolved into a Bulbasaur or a Ivysaur right now, that Ivysaur would be whatever that percentage is, it'll be whatever it is at that point. It'll still be on that point, it'll still be that much. And so yeah, that's very important to remember, that that's how that works. And leveling up a Pokemon, some people have some beliefs that leveling up like the Bulbasaur at, you know, before you turn it into an Ivysaur or Venusaur will give it plus HP or something. I don't believe that's true. And also, it's the same amount of dust, you guys. So there's no leveling up as a Bulbasaur, leveling up as a Venusaur, it doesn't matter. Still the same amount of dust. It's just going to get less stats as a Bulbasaur, obviously. So like it'll be plus 14 CP as a Bulbasaur, and if it was a Venusaur, I could only imagine, I don't know, plus 40, I don't know, because it has so much more CP to acquire, and because it's all percentage based. And yeah, so that's how CP works with Pokemon, and it's all relative to your trainer level. And so like I said in the beginning, technically the best and most fastest way to level up, because you don't even get it, you do get some experience from fighting gyms. I was going to go over gyms in a second here, but it would just be to catch massive amounts of Pokemon, you know, get your bag at 1,000 Pokemon, so you don't even have to worry about it. Just go to a park somewhere or go to a college and just catch all the Pokemon you can catch with all the lure modules active, fill up your bag, and then evolve all those Pokemon while a Lucky Egg is active, and then that's how you gain experience. Never power up your Pokemon with the dust. Don't do it until you reach the 50 cap, basically. You know what I mean? That's probably the best way to play the game. But, you know, people want to fight in gyms. People want to have fun and play on their team color and stuff. So, all right, you guys. A couple other things before we get to gyms and then kind of finish up. I just wanted to talk about how different Pokemon also have, like, different stats with the extra small and extra large. And as of right now, from what I've read and just kind of what I've experienced, I have noticed that extra large Pokemon have a little bit more health, I've seen, but extra small, I feel like I haven't seen this anywhere. I feel like they can attack faster, but this is just kind of my opinions. I don't think it's that relevant of enough difference, but some people agree that extra small can dodge faster, while, you know, extra large have more hit points. And so also I noticed though that Pokemon that have the extra large and extra small stats, whether it's in weight and height or one or the other, will have a stat in that when they evolve, though it might not necessarily be the same stat. So, because I was like, dude, I'm totally gonna get extra large everything, and then it'll evolve and it'll be extra large and everything will just be large. And no, that's not how it works. Most of the time my double extra larges would just turn into double extra smalls. So yeah, that's kind of how that works. But yeah, I guess attack speed would kind of be speed in general, because that's kind of how Pokemon works. So if you think about that. But yeah, so that's pretty sweet, and it's definitely something to think about when it comes to the Pokemon. And even if it actually isn't relevant right now, like some websites say, I think that it definitely will have something to do with something in the future because it's there. And when a Pokemon evolves, you guys, I do feel like its moves are random. I haven't really felt like there's a consistency to anything that I've noticed so far in evolving, you know, the mass amounts of Pokemon that I've evolved. Some people say with Eevee, your color, you tend to get more of your color or something. I mean, that has kind of been true for me, but I've evolved like 4 Jolteons and 2 Vaporeons and 0 Flareons. The Flareons I've got have all been from running into them, but yeah, I mean, if there is something there, I don't think it's noticeable enough. So, you know, I guess that's that. Because I've talked to 8 of my different friends that, you know, have gone pretty hard at this game, are all level like 18 and up. They haven't really noticed a thing. Like one of the guys is 4 Vaporeons and he's team red. So, you know, there's that. And then also some people say with the EVs, like Body Slam turns into Flareon, Swift goes into Vaporeon, and what the Dig goes into Jolteon, and one of my friend evolved 3 EVs, and it actually did happen just like that, and I thought that was really cool. But then 6 other EVs were evolved by a couple other friends, and nothing like that happened. So I don't think that's necessarily true either. But maybe if you guys find something, and if you find some sort of way for some sort of consistency to be seen when it comes to evolving Pokemon and moves, or just evolving Pokemon in general, you know, especially with Eevee, let us know in the comments below. You know, I would really like to know, and because this is just knowledge that I've acquired, you know, from whether it's from playing the game for hours on end or the different information I've seen online, which is pretty much nothing. So yeah, so that's with evolving. Also, something to think about though with those moves, since they are random, kind of when you evolve, from what I've experienced anyways, then when you evolve them, you may want to hold on to some of those Pokemon that you've caught in the wild or evolved that have those better moves. So like if you did catch a few Charizards in the wild or something, if you're that lucky, and they are like weaker because you caught them at level 10 or 20 and now you're 25 or whatever, you know, you may want to hold on to those Charizards if they have Heat Wave or whatever Charizard's strong move is. And so that could be a reason to use a ton of dust on a Charizard, and maybe that Charizard's also extra large, you know. So that's just also something to think about. But I'm going to talk about trading towards the end of this video too, so that's another reason to hold on to Pokemon. So I'm not a big fan of the whole transfer everything, so hold up on that thought. And remember, you guys, on hatching eggs, I believe the limit is around, I think, 12 miles an hour when it comes to hatching eggs. So you can actually drive and cruise in your car at 10 miles an hour, and it has worked for me pretty much every time I've done that. So like I said at the graveyard, before I hatched 14 eggs, that was a real thing. And so yeah, so just, you know, realize you can do that. I believe skateboard, you usually go around 10 miles an hour also with rollerblading. So just if you clock in over, I think like 18 miles an hour or 15 miles an hour, like it will not count your steps for a good few minutes. So just, I haven't figured out a perfect way to beat the system or something like that. I know people are putting bags on their dog or their phone next on their dog, and their dog, you know, running around doing crazy things. But just yeah, it definitely works doing it that way, and it's pretty cool for me. So sometimes it does count me when I'm going 20 miles an hour too, by the way. So pretty much just drive kind of slow in your car and see if it picks it up, you know, have your phone on. But the whole data thing is also a problem. You know, you don't want to be using all your phone's data all the time unless you have unlimited. So, but yeah, definitely with hatching Pokemon, you know, there's some ways to kind of beat the system with that. So going into gyms are pretty cool. I do wish the battling system was a little better than just tap, 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 hold, swipe, 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 tap, tap, tap. You know, it's pretty insane, but it is a mobile game at the end of the day. So, I mean, like, you can't expect too much, but I wish there was a little more to combat than that. But yeah, I think gyms are pretty sweet because it's a very great way to just meet new friends that are on your team, or if you have friends already that have joined the same team, you know, it's a really cool concept. And so I think, you guys, the best way to take over a gym can have 10 slots, you know, and this is the advanced guide, so I'm not going to get too into it, but just gym can have 10 slots, and I think you need at least 5 strong friends with you in order to even hold a gym. I'm in an area, you know, that's not too populated, but I think there's like 400,000 people that live in my city. Just, you know, it's Central California. And it's just, yeah, in order to hold the gym, because I'm level 25 right now, and like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm the highest in my city right now, or, you know, or was. It's been a while since I've played now, but just in a while, I mean like a few hours. And so I can destroy probably any gym in a 100-mile radius easily. And I don't even have that strong in Pokemon. Like, I haven't really been raising my Pokemon. I kind of have now. and just because I was testing things out. But just like I have, a 1900 Arcanine, a 1500 Magmar, a couple of almost 1500 Vaporeons, and seriously, I've never had to use more than 2 Pokemon to take down a gym. It's just it's a little unbalanced right now, you guys. I think balance is a big issue when it comes to just what needs to be done with gyms. Like I said, the combat system could be improved more, but just getting 6 Pokemon to fight, a gym, no matter how many Pokemon are at that gym, just seems a little insane to me. I feel like at the most you should get 3. And gym should go down a certain amount of points based on how many Pokemon you kill in a gym, kind of like the way it works for training. But you only get 1 for training. So it's just, they need to combine that a little more and work on that a little bit. And I think they are going to balance the gyms a little more based on what I read on that article that I'm going to talk about after this. But yeah, so gyms are a little unbalanced, I think. But taking over a gym, you guys, if you want to be able to hold it, you need to go in there with at least 1,500 dudes. At the moment when I'm making this video anyways, 1,500 is pretty good. And that's like, level 20 people are getting around 1,500 people. And I know I've seen some people with 2,500 stuff, but that's insane. And like everyone in your party needs at least a 1,500 dude. Just throw in that gym, and you throw them in an order where the weakest one's first, so you can still beat it and have that gym gain some more points, because that's where you run into problems when the first Pokemon are so weak because you're using them to train to get to level 10. But you need to figure out kind of a balance there between what Pokemon you're putting in there to train against to make the gym higher, and what Pokemon are there to actually just destroy everyone that comes. And so a couple of my friends are like, let's just do 200s, and then after a couple 200s, let's just do all 1500s up. And so there's an idea with that, because you still can take down a couple Pokemon, put the weaker 1500s first, maybe take down a couple of them, and then you get destroyed by the rest. But it makes it really hard for someone to have 6 Pokemon still to kill a gym that has 6+ Pokemon in it. But you run into problems with the first few being Pokemons that are used to train to get the gym higher in the first place. And so I just think they need to work on balancing that a little bit. But I think it's pretty cool. It's definitely an awesome idea. Taking over gyms is pretty sweet. What's a way to get dust? And I think I have a few right now. Arcanine's in one, that Pinsir's in one, and like I actually had 9 at one point, and just people take them so often, and it's so easy to take them. And I think me and my friends, my yellow buddies, plan to go around and snag some gyms later today. So that'll be a good time. And like that, thinking about that's kind of fun thing. Just going around with friends and taking down gyms. Whether or not we end up keeping them, it's still fun. Like us all working together to do that. And the best way to do that, though, is so for you guys to all be fighting the gym at once. The servers haven't been very laggy lately, so that's a good thing, because that was almost impossible to do when the servers were laggy. But yeah, you guys all fighting a gym at once, making them lose that prestige, and so making it, and then clearing that gym out, and then you taking over that gym for your color, and then just, like I said, training against those Pokemon, those couple first Pokemon, or just putting in weaker but still strong Pokemon to train against, and then putting in the strong Pokemon after that. And just try to get that gym as many levels as possible. I'm telling you guys, you need at least like 6 Pokemon in the gym in order to defend it, in my area anyways, so also it's a pretty cool idea to take over gyms that are just in random spots, and because people are going to not expect that, but then you're going to have a guy that's doing the same thing you're doing that's actually very strong, and so there goes that idea. But it's just something to think about. Just take over a gym whenever you can, basically, if it's easy. And yeah, so gyms are pretty sweet, and I think that it's definitely something to have fun with some of your friends. If you're taking a break from the whole level grind, go take over some gyms, have some fun with that. And I wanted to finish this advanced guide for you guys, kind of with what I've learned on the future of Pokemon Go. And so the CEO of Niantic, I think his name is John Hank, I believe, and he did a couple interviews with some different people like Game Informer and whatnot. And yeah, he mentioned that he's definitely going to be doing bi-weekly updates for Pokemon Go, which is what they did for Ingress. And Ingress, you guys, is their first game combining Google Maps with a MMO app, I guess is the right way to say that. And yeah, mass multiplayer online. And so when he did that, he actually proposed the idea, which is funny to think about, to the CEO of Pokemon, and that guy actually, I believe, played Ingress. So that was a really easy relationship to figure out, because he ended up going to Pokemon with the idea to create Pokemon Go. And yeah, so his idea is that like the server crashes in the beginning, they just did not think this many people would play the game. Like, it was astronomical. Like, he couldn't even fathom that. He knew that maybe eventually that it would be to the first place on the free app and money spent type thing, but he did not think would happen. Everything would happen in one day, and it was just insane the amount of people that are playing Pokemon Go. And so they've kind of fixed the server crashes. He said they're constantly working on it, but from the interview that I read, he said that they're going to be doing bi-weekly updates. I felt like within a few weeks we're going to have trading. So yeah, you shouldn't like just transfer all your Pokemon. You know, you might want to hold on to some of those Pokemon, especially that Charizard that's 30 CP, because your friend might be able to use it. And, you know, it'd be really awesome so you could use that, put that in his Pokedex, and yeah, so it's just a reason to hold on to some of those Pokemon, especially, you know, you could trade that, some of those cool Pokemon that you no longer need, that are 1500s or 1800s, for some cool Pokemon that you don't have for your Pokedex or that you want to raise. Whether it's double XL Pokemon and they have a certain move that you want on it. You know, it's just something to think about. So I think trading will actually be coming out within a month. And that's something definitely that would be awesome. And other than that, they said they're definitely going to work on the Pokestops and gyms. I feel like Pokestops would be something that would come out before gyms, because I feel like the gym combat system, they're going to work on that a little bit. And then the whole gym idea, they're just going to revamp it, I believe he said, a little bit. So gyms and Pokestops they're going to work on, and then coming out with more Pokemon. I believe that's probably going to be around 6 months to a year for that. But I think the gyms and Pokestops will probably be around 3 to 6 months, and then maybe even a little less than that, actually. Less than 3 months probably for the gyms and Pokestops, and then I'm thinking within a month for trading. So, because that's just a very important part, I feel like, for Niantic and their game, because that's the whole concept, you know, is getting people together, getting the community together, getting them out of the house, going out and playing Pokemon Go, and just being a community. And that part of that would definitely be trading Pokemon. So yeah, I expect that to happen pretty dang soon. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed this awesome advanced guide that I've kind of gone over with you guys with all this different things. And I just kind of want to get out all the information that I've learned out and just let you guys do with it as you please. You know, if you feel I was wrong, if you feel like you have some ideas that I didn't mention, or if you have thoughts and concerns about the game, please, you guys, post that in the comments below. It's very important that everyone can learn as much as they can about this game as possible, especially with them being very vague about how different things work. And yeah, just let's just spread the word, and hopefully, you know, we can get more people rising the ranks. Also, something that John mentioned about from Niantic, the CEO, he mentioned that there's going to be a leaderboard system, and I remember that, and so that'll be pretty sweet too. So who has caught the most Pokemon, or who has the highest level Pokemon, who's the highest level trainer, you know, things like that. So yeah, definitely, you guys, play Pokemon Go if you haven't. Check it out at least. It is insane how fun it can be, especially with friends, even meeting new people playing the game. Like, I was hanging out with a dude that walked over to some girls and got their number after a while just by hanging out with them and playing Pokemon together. You know, that seriously happened, and I just didn't really think Pokemon would ever do that, and for someone. So that's definitely interesting to think about. And you know, it's just definitely an awesome experience. And so yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this guide. And like I said, I'll be making a beginner's guide probably pretty soon. And subscribe for more epic Pokemon Go videos. And Simply Unlucky signing out.
No, baby!